of these shows, yeah, there'll be the occasional black judge or occasional black lawyer. But would you say it's probably 95% of the judges and lawyers and shit are always Jays? They're just reinforcing all of the shit in your head everywhere, all day. Do you guys understand that the protests at the colleges and universities and shit, that's still happening? The children of the richest, most powerful people in the world that send their kids to the Harvards, the Yales, and all that, they are protesting against something, doing a constitutionally protected activity, and being arrested for it. And nobody's coming out and saying anything. None of these rich, powerful parents are coming out and saying anything to support their kids or against their kids. Isn't that kind of strange? But this is, just look at the feed, man. I wish I could say it any other way. Like, look, if you really want your evidence, just look at my feed. I can have, there are times when I have 18,000 views, 20,000 views. And not one comment is saying anything good about the Jays, good about Israel. Like, I want you to please enlighten me, educate me, help me understand, because I look all over the place and I can't find it. Every single thing that I look up regarding them makes me go, Jesus, how the fuck are they in charge? They are horrible. It's disgusting. I mean, it really is crazy. I'm really stuck on the whole mikvah thing. The fact that they think women's vaginas are so disgusting that before they even build a temple in an area, they build the special bath that the woman is supposed to go into every month. Every month, J women do this. They go into this bath that is standing water. It's been there. It's old fucking nasty standing water. They have their menstruation. Then they go and they get checked. And if there's any blood, they have to keep waiting. Good. Glad you're here, dude. If there's no blood, then they go into this bath. And it's not like a big bath. It's like a small square that's deep so you can stand in it. It's cold and shit. And they get all cleaned up so they can run home and their husband has sex with them. After being all checked and all that, then they got to run home because their husbands won't be nearly as interested in them. Because they're gross. It's actually, it's supposedly why they wait 8 days to circumcise. Understand that circumcision is literally probably, it's a top 5 worst things we do. Especially to the Goyim, who we do it to within hours of being born. Like, I talk about this all the time, and I have to almost separate myself. Because if I think about the fact that I did this to my own children, I want to cry. Like, I feel like a total piece of shit for having fallen for this J nonsense. And it's literally, it's like, they say that it's medical, but if it was medical, it would be across the board. In Europe, they don't circumcise. They say that the risks well outweigh the benefits, and they don't do it. So it's not a medical necessity. Just the fact that we would be born and then have to immediately be altered. Do you not, like, that is fucking horrible. And it's not just loose skin that gets cut off. There are glands, like, it makes your shit a little bit bigger, more rippled for her pleasure. It's disgusting. It is such a and we do it. Do you know why we do it? So your God, your precious, ever-loving God, doesn't give a shit how you treat your fellow man. He doesn't care. It doesn't care about how you treat the world, destroy the world, whatever. It doesn't care about how you treat the animals, even though it specifically says you're supposed to use the animals for their labor. Doesn't say it says you're supposed to eat the seeds and the grains for your meat. Okay? Doesn't say anything about eating the animals. That actually goes against it. But your God doesn't give a shit. And really, your God doesn't give a shit about anything you do. Because your God cares about the Jays. Abraham had a direct phone to God back then. And he was talking to God one day, and God was like, yeah, dude, listen, I promise I will never flood the earth again, destroy everything again. That was bad. I'm sorry. I'll never do it again, but you got to do something for me. And if you do it, I'll show you rainbows. And every time you see a rainbow, you know that's my promise to never destroy the earth again. Okay, what am I supposed to do, oh high and mighty God, oh Lord, oh Jesus of God? Well, I need you to circumcise yourself. Yeah, I fucked up. I fucked up when I made you. And I know I can dinkle dinkle dink anything in and out of existence. But I'm going to keep fucking up. I'm going to keep making all the boys fucked up. So you need to circumcise them. And Abraham, he's like, you mean cut the fucking tip of my... Yeah, okay, no problem, yeah. Had no problem with it. And then, he was also... I don't even know if he was supposed to, but I think he chose to. Circumcise all of his slaves. All the non-Jays that he had as slaves. I think it was like 90 something. I don't know. I could be wrong. So this dude is sitting there hand circumcising all of these fucking... And all of these slaves were like, okay, we'll let you cut our penis skin. Yeah, that sounds good. So to this day, as long as the Jays keep cutting and sucking baby penises, God never said anything about the sucking. That was a choice. Then the world will never be destroyed again. And we'll see rainbows. And they're supposed to circumcise them and circumcise their slaves, and that's what happens. We don't circumcise our own children. Some J doctor usually does. But see, because the Jays believe the woman's vagina is so disgusting that the moil, the guy who does the circumcisions, won't even touch the woman, won't touch the baby, won't nothing. Because the baby needs 7 days of purification. Women's vaginas are so fucking disgusting that it takes 7 days to purify. And then they have their little party, it's called a bris, where they perform Brit Milah and the or something, whatever, I don't know how to say that, where they cut. So they have this party where it's stated that it has to be an overly joyous occasion. Why? Because they know they're about to cause fucking trauma. They're about to mutilate and traumatize the kid. So they have this overly joyous party where all of the family and friends come. I don't know if the friends come, but the family comes. Do the friends go to a bris too? Do friends go to brises or just families?
I don't know.
Either way, it's a big party. The moil, who his sole job, this guy's job, he knows it going into it, is that he performs circumcisions, cuts and sucks baby penises. Bloody baby penises. That's his sole. He doesn't like give sermons and shit. This is his only job. If I told you, listen, I got this job for you, it's a little difficult, it's pretty bad, but I'm going to pay you $50 million a year. You're allowed to travel, you're allowed to do whatever you want. You get $50 million a year, you can do whatever you want. All you got to do is perform a circumcision and then suck on that baby penis for a minute. How many of you would take that job if all you had to do, you only had to do it once?
No.
Could you?
No.
Even if you convince yourself like the money, the wealth, the generational wealth I get from that, blah, 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 then you're standing there in front of this cute little baby, this baby, and you're like, okay,
No.
I'm going to cut it and then suck on it.
No. Nightmares. No. I'd throw up on the baby. I wouldn't even want.
This is somebody that's put dicks in her mouth.
No.
Like, I've never put a dick in my mouth, so it's that much worse, I guess. But this is somebody that's put dicks in her mouth. I'm not saying it in a bad way. She's put dicks in her mouth before.
There's no way. I can hear them from my bedroom. I mean, just the thought of doing
Just the
something
thought
to
of
the
it.
baby to make it
Bleed
like that.
Just make it bleed.
No way. No.
So then they do it. Moyle sucks on it. And then they pass the baby around to all the family who goes, no, it's good, it's okay. And they do their best to try to overcompensate for the trauma.
Is it because their dicks are so little they have to make them look bigger and that's why they started circumcising?
No, they did it for the trauma. It's trauma.
I think the trauma was just the bonus?
No. Because, how much bigger does it make it look? A fraction?
No, it's significant.
I disagree, but whatever. So when it comes to us, the Goyim, the non-Jays, within hours of being born, understand that. If you've ever seen a newborn baby as opposed to an 8-day-old baby, there's a significant difference. 8 days old, you've experienced love, joy, happiness, security, warmth, comfort, food. You've experienced soft, right? Something. You've experienced things. Hours after being born, you still can't even see right. Your ears are still plugged. You still have mom all inside of your orifices. If you look at a newborn baby, I mean, they're like all shriveled up and blue and, they're like little raisins. There's a drastic difference between hours old and 8 days old. Drastic. It's like the baby doubles in size. I used to, with my first kid, I would take pictures of him every day. And you could see every day he would look different. And then if you were to go back and look at day 1 picture compared to day 8 picture, you're going to see a significant difference. But with us, within hours of being born, they take advantage of the situation that it's chaotic and the family's tired and blah, blah, blah. So they take the baby from the mother. Think about that. This baby is new. It's like it doesn't know what's going on again at that time. It's just barely figuring things out. And so they take it and they put it in the nursery where it's alone. And then they get the operating room ready. And they say that they use anesthesia. They don't. You don't give anesthesia to a newborn baby unless you absolutely fucking have to. It's fucking dangerous. So they take the baby into the operating room and they strap it down almost like it's being crucified, right? Where its arms are out like this, strapped down, and its legs are strapped down together. They have this pincher thing. They pinch it, and then they put this thing on it, this like bell thing over the top. And when they spin the bell, the blade comes out and cuts the baby penis. And there's a lot of ways it can go wrong, like it did with our second kid who had to get his circumcision fixed at like 2, 3. So 9 months, whatever. We had to because it was all fucked up. They fucked up. And so the baby, once that happens, it goes, ah, and it just goes into shock. It doesn't even keep screaming. It goes into shock. And whether it takes 15 minutes, whether it takes an hour, whatever it is for the baby to come out of shock, they leave it in the nursery until it does. And then once people come out of shock, they're groggy and it's exhausting. Oh, they've also wrapped up the circumcised penis in something so it can pee all over its own wound. Right? That's always good. And so this baby is left in the nursery trying to figure out what the fuck happened to it. No comfort, no love, no support, no nothing. And then we take that, once the baby sort of starts to pass out, they then take it to the mom and dad and go, oh, the widow man had his surgery. He's so sleepy. It's exactly what they fucking said to me both times. I'm sure Ange doesn't remember it. She was pretty out of it. Widow man had his surgery. Ooh, he's so sleepy, but he was a little trooper. And now you get to finally give your baby the love it needed. I love how this dumbass thinks he's insulting me by calling me a J. What? Like, obviously they're awful, horrible people, but if you are trying to use it as an insult, I guess you agree then, huh? See, you'd think anybody that would come in here and open their big fucking mouth after what I just said, you'd think they would say something like, wow, that's fucking horrible. Can't believe we do that. Or, you're wrong, dude, it's actually this, or it's actually... How come nobody's ever corrected me about the circumcision stuff? Oh, it's because I'm not wrong. This is what we do, and we do it because of some bullshit conversation between, Abraham and God promising to never flood the earth again so he'll show us rainbows. I know it sounds really stupid when I say it, but that's what it is. Don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. These are the same people that run Hollywood, and like the true Hollywood story, the Hollywood true Hollywood story. Notice how you never saw that episode. Is atrocious. All of the I was thinking about it a lot. I mean, just look at how few black people are actually big stars. Like, the fact that the Wayans brothers were in so many things and given so many opportunities. Damon was given 4 or 5 different shows. Are we saying that Damon is so much more talented than everybody else that they're not giving shows to new black guys? Damon's going to get 4. He's going to do a show, it's going to fail. Do another show, it's going to fail. They're going to be like, you know what? Next time, Damon Wayans, you're going to get it. Keenan Ivory Wayans. The left loves puppetry. Anybody who refers to the left and the right loves puppetry. Because if you honestly think they tell you we're going to slap you in the face with the left hand or the right hand, and you think you're smart because you were like, hey, what hand are you? And they say, well, I'm right-handed. And you go, okay, well, I'll pick the left hand because I don't think you're strong, or I think you can't slap as hard with your left hand. Ha, I'm smart. I outsmarted you. Go ahead, slap me. That's basically what you're doing. The lesser of two evils. There is no left and right. That's just a fucking gag. That's how they control us. That's them giving us the illusion of choice. I mean, remember COVID and how Guys like Buttigieg were doing a lot better than people anticipated. And that you know, we were supposed to be focusing on Trump and Biden and Sanders at the time, but everybody knew Sanders was going to do the thing where he bows out and then tells his people to support, you know, the Democratic side. It's what he did last time with Hillary. But everybody else that was in this race put all the money up, had their families and everything, left their jobs or whatever. COVID came and they were all like, okay, we're all going to step down. But the two oldest guys, the Trump and the Biden, let's let those guys keep going and Sanders keep going until he quit. But not the young, spry, fucking up and comers. No. Oh, don't worry. Buttigieg is now the Secretary of Transportation. You know, because being the mayor of a small little town in Maine, he just happens to have a degree in transportation engineering and management and shit, right? Oh, there is no gravity. There is no gravity. You are correct. I'd like to know what kind of education you have in order to have this program that you spell your ignorant ways. He said that in capital letters, so I had to. I would like to know what kind of education you have in order to have this program that you spell your ignorant ways. What? What does that even mean? I know you guys want to talk about me.
To have a live feed?
Huh?
You need a degree to have a live feed?
I don't know. I love how you guys want to talk about me, and I want to talk about the big picture. I'm not arrogant like that. I don't need you guys focused on me and talking about me. I want to talk about the big picture, because I'm just a piece. But I do appreciate it, because you only keep proving my point. You know we can read, right? I know you can. You probably don't do it very often, though. You're not educated enough to have this program. What program? Are you calling this feed a program? Wow, you're stupid. Yeah, it's a YouTube channel, right? I'm focused on you, pretty boy. Of course you are. I'm awesome. No doubt about it. I'm the best at this. I'm better than Alex Jones. I'm better than all of those other fucking clowns that you watch, which is why you could be watching someone else and you're not. Which is why I get the censorship that I do compared to those guys. Don't forget to like, share, and sub, by the way. I watch Ben Shapiro all day. That you basically just said I'm a stupid ass. But if you watch Ben Shapiro all day, well, I guess it's not all day, is it? Because you seem to be here a lot. So there's a guy who's world famous and is allowed to have a big program and millions and billions of views and millions of dollars and blah, blah, blah. And when you're not watching me, you're watching that guy. Boy, that sure makes me look bad, doesn't it? Go outside and touch grass. Yeah, okay. Exactly. Ignorant. Again, can you be a little more pacific? The Onion fucked up when they brought Alex Jones. Bought Alex Jones and not you. They could have had primetime television. LOL. Bigfoot is real. Who gives a fuck? You know there's a genocide happening right now, right? You're stuck on Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, and shit like that? While there's a genocide happening, while the Israelis are murdering children left and right? Yeah, you're awesome. You're awesome. Like I keep saying. Actually, I'm adjusting it. Instead of telling me what I'm wrong about, please, just somebody give me something good the Israelis bring to the fucking table. I mean, definitely not their food. Ugh, gross. Who was like, you know what'd be really good? Raw fish. Raw cold fish. Fucking crazy. Gefilte fish. Pretty gross. Lutefisk. Those are Norwegian dishes though. But that's, when all you have is fish to eat, like you can't even really grow crops most of the time. You come up with some crazy dishes, I would imagine. Some crazy dishes involving salt. I mean, we always talk about this with like northern United States and whatnot, but it's like that all over the place. How did anyone ever settle in a place like this? When it used to be a lot worse and there used to be a lot more snow and shit. How? Especially if you weren't like indigenous to that area and you hadn't experienced winters like that before.
They came here in June.
No, remember? July. They came here in November. They got here in November and stayed on the boat for a month and a half.
Right. And snow started falling. They're like, now let's leave this boat.
Well, remember, they were blown off course, and the journey that was supposed to take a month took 2 months, 2.5 months. And then they got to Cape Cod in November 10th, I think. But they didn't do their first expedition out to shore until December 20th or 21st. One of them, I can't remember. How does that even make sense? Do you know how difficult it is to build anything? Like, especially something that has foundations in the ground?
I can't get those little things out. I need
Right,
your help.
right. She can't pull these things out of the ground because they're frozen into it.
And I don't want to break them.
Sushi is pretty great. Right, you're disgusting. You are disgusting. I mean, just because something might taste good doesn't mean you should eat it.
Raw meat.
Right. I mean,
it starts decaying the minute it dies.
The minute it dies. I mean, I guess with sushi, at least in some cases, it's like just died. But that's if you really pay for it. Not if you go get that sushi container like from Meyer.
Japan or fucking someplace right on the water.
Right. I mean, it's just insane. Raw fucking meat. Who was like, yeah, the best meat is to eat it raw. And it's who controls the food pyramid? Who controls our perception on food? If you go look at all the cooking shows on TV, especially on no cable TV, you'd be amazed by how many are J's. Huh?
And the cooking's not good.
But it's like Italian cuisine or what? It's like, what? Why are you a J? But it's the J's that tell us to eat meat. It's the J's that tell us to eat it raw or as rare as possible. That's when it's at its best, when it's super duper rare. You know, when it gives you a really bad stomach ache because your body is fucking trying to process raw meat. And you aren't like a cat or a dog who has canines and you tear shit off. Your body is, you're doing that to grind up your food because you're supposed to eat plants and shit. You know, you don't have that 4-foot digestive tract. You have like a 60-foot digestive tract or whatever it is.
I've got your little chart here.
Oh, I know all that stuff. I'm not going to go too far into it, but you know, it's just simple shit like raw meat. If I give you a raw chicken leg and an apple, and you choose to eat that fucking chicken leg, you got some real issues. I think birds are part of the key to sickness. I'm not a big believer in germs, but I don't believe in germs actually. But I think a lot of our sickness comes from birds. If you look at the timing of things, when people get sick, It's generally around the time where we eat birds. Thanksgiving, Easter. You know, I know Easter is Easter ham or whatever, but a lot of people have turkey that day. And most of you eat, I don't remember what the number of chickens the average American eats, but it's fucking gross. You're basically a sarcophagus. You're a coffin as long as it's cooked. And then when you stop eating meat and you smell it being cooked,
Especially hamburger. I don't know what it is.
steaks too.
Burgers on the grill, I think, are the worst.
That's because burger meat is the worst. It's such trash. Like, it's the scraps that have been ground down into the, you know. But I remember my dad, he lives in an apartment. Yeah, I know I have this. He lives in an apartment, and a lot of Indian people live in those apartments. And when they move in and they start cooking with their curry and shit, that is powerful. That is a powerful aroma. And the whole apartment building will smell, and you'll smell it in your own apartment because and they don't know it. They have no idea. It's normal smell to them. But just like it's a powerful, you know, offensive aroma at times, when we cook steaks or hamburgers or whatever, they feel the same way about that smell.
Oh, the Hindus, yeah.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Right, the cow is sacred to them, so that smell is disgusting. And when you think about it again, you're like, oh yeah, that flesh needs a good sear on it. Make sure you get a good sear on the flesh. Or like, you know what I really like? I really like barbecue. Why? Because it's cooked with cancer. You know, you're literally cooking the meat with cancer.
So the medical community, and I've heard a few people talk about this online, but now I have a first-hand account. The medical community is trying to, they see the rising population of the vegetarian community and the message getting out there. And they're starting to freak out a little bit because that's how they keep people sick, to keep them making appointments.
So they just spray shit on the vegetables.
So a friend of mine was getting this strange rash and some other shit going on with her, and she went to the doctor a couple times, reluctantly. And the doctor said, oh, you know what? Your body's not getting enough protein because you're not eating meat. Right. So, you know, and Karen definitely supplements enough with protein, you know. But they were like, yeah, but the protein, it's not, your body doesn't have to work hard to break it down. It needs a type of protein that the body has to work at to break it down.
That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
It takes more energy to process that.
She called me and she was like, what the fuck is this doctor? I said, they want to keep you sick. They realize that your body is...
If the medical community didn't want to keep us sick, then they would incorporate oils. Pretty simple.
Herbs. They wouldn't tell you, oh, that pill's fucking you up.
No, not
keep
just
taking
that.
it. We're going to give you another pill to fix that part.
You're not allowed... We aren't allowed to say what I'm about to say. Like it's supposedly against the rules. But nobody will ever convince me that oils don't work because of my own personal experience with them. Well, actually,
can cure shit.
My wife's experience. So my wife one time, she just has bad teeth. She takes care of her shit, but she has bad teeth. Whatever. You can say whatever the fuck you want. It's a genetic thing. And so her back teeth were fucked up, and you know, she needed not dental work done. Root canal done, but we're fucking poor. You know, we don't. You have to be special to be able to get dental work. And sidebar, I had a friend that worked for a hygienist for a J dentist, and she said that the J's come in and they get their dental work done for free. He then bills this organization, this 3-letter JDL something organization, 75% of what he would bill us, and they pay it. So the Jays get the free dental work, the doctor gets the payment, and that organization gets the money donated by, you know, the United States. I mean, Free dental work.
We pay for that separate.
Right. That's taxpayer dollars. Right.
It's part of that 3.8 billion, I'm sure.
No, 3.8 billion is there. That's over there. They have, if you look up all the J groups, lobby groups, you know, J preservation group, J language this or that, J you know, just they have so many official groups.
Oh, just type in the word Holocaust, and there's fucking 5 million of them.
But so like with my wife, she desperately needs a root canal so badly that it gets infected, and it's so bad her whole face swells up. And the thing about tooth infections, according to the system, is they can go up into your brain, which, I mean, I guess that makes sense. I don't know. That's not germs. That's an infection. That's something different. You know, that's a parasite devouring you. And so she got this, and this was early in our oil journey. And obviously her brain was already being affected because for about 2 days, she literally sat here in the room in the dark. TV was probably on, but really, really low. And she just sat there going, for 2 fucking days. Now, I don't like telling my wife what to do. So I finally was like, hey, have you tried the oils yet? And she was like, no. Like it just hadn't occurred to her to try it. Looked up the recipe, the Flume recipe, which is frankincense, lemon, oregano, On Guard, which is another grouping of other oils specifically. It's a protect. And Melaleuca. 2 drops of each into a tiny gel cap with a little bit of fractionated coconut oil as the base, as the carrier oil. She took that. About 20 minutes later, she passed out. First time in like 5 days, she's able to sleep fully. And this time she just passes out, like her body just shut off. She ended up sleeping for like 15 hours. And when she woke up, obviously it didn't go away or anything, but she said for the first time in like a week, she felt like a fucking person again. Now it was still all swollen and bad, and it took about another week of taking Flume for that to happen, for it to go away completely. But if she would have went to the doctor, they would have done probably IV antibiotics on her, and it might not have worked.
Well, it would have been a couple rounds of antibiotics.
Right. It might not have worked. She might have been too far.
Which would have caused a yeast infection and could have caused a bladder infection.
The IV she's talking about.
From the fucking antibiotics.
Right.
Really?
Not to mention, it's not like we could just suddenly afford to get the root canal done. So for about another 6-8 months, she had to stave off the infection. Well, the doctor isn't going to keep prescribing you antibiotics, because if they did, it would kill you. Those antibiotics they give you they kill everything. Good, bad, all in between gets killed. And they just wouldn't do it. They just wouldn't keep prescribing somebody antibiotics for 6 months, 8 months, year, whatever it was. But she was able to keep from the infection from coming back until we could finally afford to get her teeth pulled. But that you can't tell me that oils don't work. We're not even religious. So there was no prayers being said. She didn't take any fucking cough medicine, Tylenol, nothing. She didn't take anything like that. The only thing she took was some oils.
Oh, I did use the clove oil on my gum.
Right. The only thing she took was the oils. And literally, her body shut down. It was like, oh, okay. I can rest and let this shit take care of the problem.
16.
You can't tell me that's not real. I mean, you know. My mother-in-law had cancer. Was basically told, you probably got a year to live. There's nothing we can do, you know. I know we gave you the cancer, but, you know, we can't do anything about it. So she reluctantly finally was like, all right, well, I got no other opportunities, no other options. Ange, can you do something? Ange put together a little regiment. She did it for about a month or whatever. When she went back to the doctor, they were like, what the fuck? It's gone. What the fuck?
Our next door neighbor that used to live there, she had diabetes really bad. And she had neuropathy in both her feet, but the one foot in particular, the neuropathy was growing up her leg. So her doctor scheduled an amputation. Her amputation was scheduled. And I asked her, I said, give me 2 months. Just give me 2 months before they cut your leg off. And so she postponed it. And we did a regimen of oils for neuropathy and diabetes. And she put it on her legs religiously every day. And within a couple of weeks, she started getting feelings back in her feet. And when she went for a follow-up to the doctor, they canceled the amputation completely because her feeling came back fully in her legs. To me, that was more of a miracle than my tooth infection.
No, you should have died. You would have died. No. You were on death's door, I would assume. You couldn't see you. Your whole face was like a basketball. It was like her eye was closed and shit. She was just, it was so bad. And then he was, she's somebody that passes out getting tattoos.
Falls asleep.
Falls asleep. Right. Falls asleep. Right. She likes that shit. She's a kick me in the nuts kind of guy.
Oh, that was some pain.
And she was like, she's somebody that has like this weird issue that she wants to show you that she doesn't feel it. Like there was a doctor once that told her she had to have she had to get some anesthetic or some numbing stuff on her finger before he would do it. And she was like, "No, I don't."
It was broken and dislocated. He wanted to set it.
Right. And he was like, "Oh yeah?" And he was like mad that she wouldn't take it, so he like tried to hurt her. And of course, she's just going to look at him like, "That all you got?" Cuz she's an idiot.
No, by then the adrenaline, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it.
Yeah, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. She falls asleep getting tattoos. Tattoos hurt like a motherfucker. I don't care what you say. I won't ever get another one because they hurt so bad. You know, I have my kids, I have the couple of things that mean something to me on my body. And the last one I got, it was like 3-4 years ago. And I was like, oh no. Sorry, grandkids. No tattoos on my body. Are you out of your fucking mind?
I need to go get my flower from Mike.
That shit is fucking awful. But like this is the society we live in that, the medical community does everything it can to mimic, to try to synthesize what the oils already do. The oils have some 1,200 compounds in them or some shit, 800 compounds, and we can only synthesize about 200 of them.
Over 850.
Oh, over 850.
250 of which can we identify, and only 200 of which can we replicate.
There you go. There you go. Look, the guy that has all the answers and thinks he knows everything. Got it wrong.
You're really fucking close.
Right. Because I listen. You don't think I listen, but I listen. This is, it's scary, man. It's scary to think that they do this to us. Like that there are other options other than chemo that kills you. You could always try the chemo. Why don't you try the oils for like a month. Just see if there's any sort of change. And after a month, if you can't, get right on it.
I have really high LDL. For those of you that don't know,
There's real shit in the news at this moment.
That's the bad cholesterol, the cholesterol that causes cloggages and whatever.
Cloggages?
Cloggages.
Cloggages. I like that.
Cloggage in your pipes.
Okay.
Anyhow, I have a bad high LDL, and it's genetic. It's not because of my diet or anything. So the doctor, of course, prescribed me Lipitor, a statin. Statins are horrible for you. Look it up. It's documented.
It's documented.
Anyhow, so he prescribed the Lipitor for me. So, of course, they scare you because the number was high and this is where it should be and blah, 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 blah. Surprised you haven't died yet.
Because, it should be that way for every single person. Everybody is the exact same.
So,
one size fits all.
So he gave me the Lipitor, and I went back a month later, and he tested my blood, and it dropped. It dropped significantly. Well, then I went home and I started doing research because it dropped significantly, but it was still very high compared to where it should be.
And you didn't feel good.
No, I didn't. So I did the research, and it's not, it's terrible for you, and especially with any sort of pre-existing. Don't take the statin. So I started researching.
Yeah, that's me.
The oils, and there's a couple oils that naturally lower your LDL. Lemongrass is one, rosemary is another.
She loves her some lemongrass.
I don't like the smell of lemongrass, so I started taking the oils for the cholesterol and stopped taking the Lipitor. Went back 30 days later, and he said, "Wow, this is really working. You're 100 points lower than you were last month." And I looked at him, and he knows me, so he was like, "You haven't been taking the Lipitor, have you?" And I said, "No." He goes, "What are you taking?" Rosemary, lemongrass oil, put in a veggie cap, 2-3 drops every night, and that's that, once a day. And he was like, "Well, it lowered it 100 points lower than the Lipitor did, so keep taking it. Just don't tell any other patients, please."
Why wouldn't he want you to tell any other patients?
Because they make money on keeping people
I'm
on
saying,
scripts.
why wouldn't he want you to tell other patients if it's all good and legitimate, and that's not the answer? What's the other answer? If the doctor's pledge is to keep people sick, their oath, is to keep people healthy, their oath, shouldn't they be just screaming it? "Hey, I figured this out. Holy shit, this is better than the fucking, you guys take this. I want you all to be healthy and good."
Because the plants aren't going to line their pockets.
That's all it is.
They won't be, ostracized from their medical community and the pharmaceutical companies. They won't have their lunches brought in to them from the pharmaceutical reps.
Think about this.
Some bullshit.
All the respect you have for doctors, and you should. Doctors are incredible, really well educated in what they do, especially like surgeons and shit. It's
Experts
magic.
in human anatomy.
Right, it's magic. If you have a life based on that, and it's a really good life, right? You have, $1 million a year, $500,000 a year, whatever it is. You have a you have a $500,000 house, vacation property, like she said. These are mortgages that also have to be insured. You have, a family, so you have a car, your wife has a car, your kids have cars, all on the lease. Everybody's involved in multiple programs and shit like that. Your whole life is centered around how much money you make, which is everybody, but, more money, more problems is fucking real. You then discover something that would change everything and make everything better, or at least just change the perception. And you're told by your fellow community, "Hey, remember all those doctors who committed suicide, and that one guy shot himself twice, remember? Killed his kids, all this shit, remember? Yeah, he thought the same thing you did." If you're not willing to drop this, we're gonna blacklist you. And once you're blacklisted, no surgeon, you won't get a job with that super expensive degree you're still trying to pay off. You won't be able to get a job with that degree. We'll stop you from working. And if you take it too far, you'll end up like those other doctors. Well, if you say, fuck it, I'm going to just get blacklisted, what are you going to do to maintain that life? Your surgery degree, your anesthetist degree, your chiropractic degree, your whatever thing you have, that's not going to transfer into the real world anywhere where you're going to make the same, even close to kind of money. Plus, you're actually going to have to work really hard, like the rest of us do. How many people are going to give that up? Give up that good life where they're a superstar and they go to all the country club and they, all these things, and their kids have everything they want and their wife has everything she wants, and you live a really great life. And you're going to retire early if you want to, and you'll, all those benefits. You're going to give that up to help people? How many people are going to do that? Yeah, you probably don't need any sort of schooling or anything to be an anesthetist. An
They have to
anesthetician.
carry the highest amount of insurance.
Right.
Out of all of the medical practitioners, they have to carry the highest liability insurance because they literally can kill people with a little bit of a prick.
A little too much.
Size matters.
I mean, like, again, this is all about honesty. If I'm wrong about any of these things, just tell me. Just tell me how and why I'm wrong, so then I understand it in a different way, and then I won't say the things anymore. And then, the thing about the doctors, like she said, where the reps bring them lunches and shit, you guys just don't even get it. The doctors almost every day have somebody coming in, bringing them donuts, bringing lunches, doing whatever. Some drug sales rep that once they meet with the doctor, they go, hey, we've got this new thing for fucking diabetes or whatever it is. It's this new medication. It's supposed to do this. It's supposed to do that. We're going to give you X amount per fucking prescription you prescribe. And that X amount is more than the other company promised to pay them. Which one do you think they're going to do? At the end of the day, when you're a doctor and 99% of the people that you see, they don't even really listen to you anyway. How long does it take before you go, you're going to do what you want anyway, just give me the money? I mean, just think about it. Just think about how this world works. And does it work? Does it make sense? Is it the best way it could be? Again, the fact that the doctor that she saw learned about a treatment that could just revolutionize the fucking the cholesterol industry, that this guy isn't like, fucking A, tell me what you're doing, give me the exact dosages, let me start people on this. Like, that's disgusting. That's fucking disgusting. They should absolutely have our best interest in mind, but they don't. And that mentality, that goes all the way up. Do you honestly, like, it's so weird to think what people, like, what do you think the president does? What do you think all the government officials do who work for like 3 weeks and then they go on recess for 6 weeks? How many of you get recess at your job?
It's a self-taken recess. If you go to the bathroom and take a little extra longer to just sit there and breathe,
Right.
or go take a cigarette break.
Unless you don't smoke, then you don't get cigarette breaks. Fuck you.
No, then those people go to the vending machine or,
Those vacations,
yeah,
those recesses.
those are recesses. But that's, if it's longer than like 5 minutes, then people start coming to look for you.
But do you honestly think, like all of you on here, do you honestly think you couldn't do what they do? How many of you think the president does a job you couldn't do?
Not
Other than
want, but that you couldn't.
right. Other than the Trump agrees to launch 49 missiles into a civilian area, of Palestine or whatever, other than that kind of shit. But how many of you think the president's everyday workload is way more than you could handle? Waking up, getting to work about 9 o'clock, having your driver take you to work after you have a nice breakfast where your servants bring you, whatever. What do you think the president does? You think that he sits at his desk and he's like, Betty, bring me in the budget numbers, please. Yes, Mr. President. And she comes in and she gives him a stack and he's like, pulls out his adding machine. And he just starts going over the daily figures. Okay, this is here. Okay, and this. Okay. And then when he's done, he's like, all right, looks like the budget's all balanced out for the day. Now, Betty, can you bring me the foreign policy papers and stuff? I need to go over those. Yes, Mr. President. Is that what you think happens? In between lunches and golf and, got to have those lunches where you're drinking. Can you imagine the president of the United States drinks at business meetings and shit? Trump doesn't drink. Trump doesn't smoke. Trump's the Trumpity Trump. Nah, Trump just fucks kids. That's all. But I mean, it's just you could easily do that job. It's also funny to think, like, how many of you in your everyday life get told what to do by 80-year-old plus men? You got some 80-year-old plus man talking to you, aren't you? Like, okay, Gramps. Like, it's pretty crazy. We let these old motherfuckers so out. Trump, you and Trump literally have nothing in common. It's crazy to think how many people want to like act like Trump is their guy. He's their guy, blah blah blah. And yet, like, how many of you were given a small $1 million loan from your father when you first got started? Oh, he paid it back. Yeah, he paid it back. It was just a small $1 million loan. That's literally what he said. In his mind, $1 million is just a small loan. At least for him. He's not talking about loaning everybody else, giving them $1 million. But how many of you couldn't make yourself a lot richer if you had $1 million? If you grew up in a situation where your father could give you $1 million when he wanted to, do you think maybe you'd be able to do really great things with that kind of opportunity? That kind of Semitism? Think about it. Think about it. Oh shit. I'm 60 years old and I'm alone. I guess I'm faking you. You're not even here. And when you talk, I must be doing the same voice. What do you think? Yeah. You tell me that. See, I'm able to do. I can actually do both voices at the same time. That's how good I am. It's fucking insane, man. It's insane. You hear they're doing great things with antipsychotic medication. They're not. How many commercials do you see on TV that say, hey, if you were like having some psychotic shit going on in your head and you took this pill and it then made you want to kill yourself even more, take this pill. Don't stop taking the one pill, but take this pill too. Then the next commercial comes on and it's like, did you use Johnson & Johnson baby powder on your kid? Because that's been known to cause cancer and there's a lawsuit. Whatever happened to that shit? Like, how did you have to be told that putting crushed up rock on your body was a bad thing to do? Think about this. Oh yeah. Gotta love, here we go. Jardiance. If you take this, you might get some rash and swelling around the anus and genital area. Just said that. What is Jardiance even a commercial for? It's turtles playing fucking soccer, I guess? With headphones and glasses and shit? Chronic kidney disease. If you have chronic kidney disease, take this and it'll make you feel better, but it might give you genital ass rash.
So gross.
And that's one of the things. I mean, literally every single one of those commercials, again, like 80% of it, of the commercial length, is them telling you what could possibly go wrong. It starts out like, da-da, boop-a-da. Hey, look, I feel so great because I have my little sign with the happy face on it in my pocket. And then it's like, oh, well, if you take this medication, and everything sort of dies down, and they show you these happy images, but it's like, if you take this, you might get some ass rash and cancer of the dick hole, and your left testicle will fall off. But hey, it's okay. Your chronic kidney disease will feel better. It's amazing. It's amazing. And at the end of the day, if you look into any of these things and you go to the top of each pyramid, who do you find? It's always the Jays, man. It's always the Jays. And all of these things are just distractions to keep us from focusing on them. You hate gay people so that they can continue doing what they're doing. Because if gays were gays and straights worked together, boy, that would be a much harder, more difficult opposition, wouldn't it? Hang on, I'm looking for somebody else. Here we go. Thaddeus got mad at me because I posted a video, that video of that little tiny female cop. And I said, I don't think females should be allowed to be fucking cops, blah, blah, blah. They put us all in danger. And he's like, oh, don't be sexist, blah. I'm not being sexist. You know, there's a big difference there. I support women 100%. And the one thing I support a lot is that your periods are awful. Awful, not something I want to experience. And if I had to go through that shit once a week or once a month for a week at a time, sometimes two, oh my God, I can't even imagine.
So there was somebody in our group, and they have fraternal twins, boy and girl. And they're like 12 now, and they sat down with them to have the honest conversation. This is somebody that's our age, you know. They had their kids later.
Damn old people.
Okay, so from our generation. Anyway, so he sat his kids down and had the talk about the difference between boys and girls. Like, you know, and he was cool about it. Like he asked his daughter, you know, is there anything that your brother can do that you don't think you can do? And she was like, no, blah blah blah. You know, has her mama's sassy attitude. So he was saying in his story, and he was like, okay, so let's do some things, you know. And he had him do like run around the block, do push-ups, fucking do pull-ups, arm wrestle, you know, shit like that. And he was like,
She
so
lost 100% of the time.
do you still think that he said she almost caught him in the running because she's a really fast runner.
Okay, that happens.
Okay.
She almost caught him.
Right.
Right.
Um,
If the best thing you do is almost winning, you lost.
so, you know, so he sat him down and he was like, listen, like, I am all for women's rights. I believe that there's a lot of stuff that women
No
do
key
better.
bumps.
But I don't want you guys to get caught up in you want to box and you know, turn into a girl and box. Like, he didn't want anything. He explained it to him in a way that was like real, you know. And when there was any question, well, he came up with an alternative to test that theory out, to help the little girl understand.
I can prove it all day long. Listen, if I'm wrong, go on YouTube and find the video of the female cop single-handedly chasing down somebody, or single-handedly taking down a guy that's fighting with them.
Okay, so, but look that up for a guy.
Plenty. There's plenty.
Okay, plenty. But now you have to look at the sheer numbers. How many guy cops versus how many girl cops? It's going to be naturally harder to find that.
No, that's just not true. There are plenty of videos out there that show females not doing that. I can show you plenty of videos where the guy takes off running and the female runs about 20 feet and stops and starts calling him back up. She doesn't keep going. And she let's just be realistic. She shouldn't. So say she chases the guy into the backyard or behind the thing. And he fucking, you know, she comes running around the corner and gets walloped with a stick. And then he jumps on her and beats her face in.
And takes her gun and goes and shoots somebody with it.
All right. She's not going to stop that. Yep. Somebody said, oh, are you mad, little dude? Yeah, that's the one thing about me. I'm definitely little. I'm trying to compensate for my tiny penis. That's what I'm doing. It's so weird to me because it's like people, because you want to believe something, you'll say things that go against reality. Every single one of us has either dealt with or, as a female, done something where you weren't quite yourself because you were on your period and then you had to apologize for it. I'm sorry, I was in a bad way that day. Sorry about that. I wasn't myself that day. And you might not go into it, but you'll have to apologize for it. I can tell you, being somebody that was raised by a woman and having had a handful of girlfriends, there's a difference. You guys are drastically different when you're on your periods. It's not even close, especially when you're comfortable, right? Like, you might be able to put on a decent show when you're at work. You're still compromised, but you still can put on a show. But when you're at home and you don't care about putting on that show anymore for your dude, he's already here, and you're like, dude, this is really me. You suck. And you don't suck, but you suck. Like, it's crazy. And it's the thing is, I can't say this enough. It is totally understandable. I'm not saying it like, you know, buck up, sweetheart. You know, don't do that. Don't act that way. No, I get it. If every time I said, like, think about the average patrol officer. She's sitting in a cop car driving around. She has to get up and get out and get up and get out. So whether she has on a tampon or a pad, She's not able to just go change that as immediately. Oh shit, something just happened. Oh, I gotta stop. She's not able to do that. Especially multiple times in a day if she needs to. But if I had to sit on a squishy blood pad every time I sat down, that would bother me. Especially once it kind of gets cold. You know, it's not going to be as warm as it was. Or you have a tampon shoved up there that's just getting, ugh. That would be so weird. I can't imagine having something stuck up inside my shit and just walking around like, hey, yo, how's it going? Have a tampon in. Like, that is fucking crazy. You have a foreign object in your vagina and you're just walking around like no big deal. Wow. Wow. So that in itself is just, again, just wow. But then you say, okay, you also get a bunch of hormones. You can taste blood and iron and shit. You're cramping and sore and swollen. And are you kidding me? If that just happened to me, if suddenly I was bleeding, I was all cramped up, sore, I had this rush of hormones and shit, and I would take work off. I wouldn't go to work that day, those days. Well, I mean, you know, it shouldn't be that way. You know, if we are going to let them be, I use the periods as like the emphasis on it. But the reality is female cops put us all in danger. And the only way you're going to, you know, you're going to deny it for the most part. I'm sure most of you are because you're like PC programmed to say the right thing. But the reality is they put us all in danger. If I'm a two-strike felon, I probably don't have a lot of opportunities. So if I need to make some real money or something, I'm probably doing something that'll get me that third strike. And if I get pulled over, say I'm out in the middle of a fucking dark somewhere or whatever, middle of nowhere, and I got third strike in the car, and it's some little tiny Angela-sized cop, I mean...
You'd be stupid not to run.
Right. And running is one thing. If I'm a felon, blah, 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 I'd be stupid to not hurt that person and take their radio and shit. So, yeah, there'll be a bulletin out. Like, it'll be an emergency, but nobody will know what to do, where to go, what's happening.
Take their body cam, their dash cam. You better take all that shit.
I mean, if it's dark, you know, it doesn't matter because they already put your plate in and all that shit, so... But you probably have a stolen car, so. But I am like 100,000 million billion quadrillion % more likely to try to assault and run from that female and preserve my freedom. Especially again, if there's no way to, you know, the car isn't mine, stolen, whatever. There's no real way to say it was me. She hasn't like put the information back to the dispatch or whatever. No. I mean, I saw this is one video that exists where, and this is a guy, right? This just shows you how bad this is. The cop pulls up to this area, again, out in the middle of, like, not really in the middle of nowhere, but like a highway, but off on this, I don't remember where it is, but there's this black dude, this, you know, sketchy looking black dude, like waving him down, and he pulls up and he's like, yeah, man, you know, I car broke down, I was just hoping I could get a ride. And the cop was like, oh, okay. And as the cop is talking to the guy, the dude pulls out a gun and shoots him. And then, you know, pushes him over in the car, doesn't even pull his body out, pushes him over in the car, and his body cam is still running, and you can hear this man die, you know. But it takes a good 20 minutes or something. And this guy goes on a fucking joyride with the car. That's a dude. That shit happens with dudes, no doubt. But it is way more likely to happen with. There's a video that always stands out in my head. It's from the 90s. And it used to be shown on like all those cop shows back in the day. They would show this video. This huge black dude and I hate saying it like that. I'm just trying to give context to the story. I hate, like, if it was a huge white dude, I'd say that too, right? This huge dude, he gets pulled over. He's in a minivan, and the officer is this little white chick. She's in her like 40s or something, and she's got short curly hair, and she's got to be like 5'2". She's tiny. And this dude is like 6'6", fucking 300 pounds. He's a big monster. He has his daughter in the van too, come to find out. But she has him come out. She has him put his hands on her car, and she's standing next to him, and she's about to cuff him, and she like looks off or something for a second, and he just goes, boom, and just blasts her in the face, and then jumps on her and starts pounding her face in. And his daughter jumps out of the car, and she's screaming, and he's like, get the fuck back in the car, and they get in the van and they drive off. And the only reason this woman survived is because passerbys stopped and found her, and they used the radio, and they're like, oh my gosh, she's been busted up real bad, like she's all fucked up, and she never worked again. But that same, that's not going to happen if it's a big dude. Not even going to happen if it's a little dude. Little dudes are going to be even worse. If it's a big black dude and it's a little white dude, he's going to be even more on the fucking muscle.
Well, that's the thing too. With a little dude already knows he's got to be on the lookout. I mean, some of the females, but they can't do shit.
They get lazy. They get lazy and they get comfortable. And when they get comfortable, bad things happen. Marissa, Cable, Danny, anyone? Where's everybody? It's not Christmas yet. We're here. We're here. I got 3 more CEOs to say they'd sign a statement acknowledging our thesis that many of the improvements in cell phone technology are incremental, based on shared knowledge. The good news is 2 of the 3 are in New York. The 3rd one is in New Jersey. Hey, Vinny and I head out the court. Trial starts at 2 o'clock. It's 1:15. Right behind you. I just gotta finish this one thing. I need these signatures today. I need each of you to carry these. I'm trying to find it because I'm making it up. Let's see.
Dr. Bull? I need to speak with you.
There's a lot of these videos. Jesus Christ. I didn't think there'd be so many videos of female cops getting beaten up. Holy shit.
She has no idea how serious this all is and no idea how much trouble she's causing. Okay. I'm sorry I said that. I care about Charlie. I really do. But this is just a lot more all-consuming than I bargained for. I'm supposed to be working a thesis, not raising a little girl. After school and a couple of nights a week. That's what I agreed to.
Oh, here it is. Beating a Michelle Jeter. I guess it even has a name.
For police officer Michelle Jeter, this
because I'm making it up.
Respect for authority had tragic consequences. On August 10th, 1997, Jeter pulled over a speeding van on Highway 59, just outside of Carthage, Texas.
There, saw it. That barely fit in here, didn't it?
Her patrol car's dash camera recorded the entire incident on tape.
Look at her looking all
Jeter
around.
had
She's
no
stupid.
idea that the situation and the van's driver, Jorge Orozco, would soon go out of control.
Conversation was very lax. It was, real cordial, real polite.
That's her.
But as far as traffic stop, it was going
Real cordial,
really
real
perfect.
polite.
It really was.
Everything was
Why is he
okay.
out of the car?
Although a routine check
'Cause
of
they do
Orozco's
that.
license turned up an outstanding traffic warrant, Officer Jeter was unaware that he had recently served time for armed assault.
Why
For
not?
some reason, I asked him if I could have permission to search the vehicle. And he said,
For
"Sure,
some
no
reason.
problem."
You had no reason to.
At that point, Orozco's 8-year-old daughter stepped out of the van and waited by the side of the road. Jeter's search of the van eventually turned up a pouch containing 1.5 pounds of marijuana.
All over some fucking weed.
Put your hands on the car. Put your hands on the car. On that car, please. I stepped away from his vehicle, walked to the back of the van, and advised him to place his hands on the car. He went in motion.
I'm not going to show it because, you know, it'll violate YouTube standards or whatever. You know, this is on YouTube, so.
Hit me in the face.
I mean, it's on YouTube.
Motion as he was going to cooperate. And as I stepped forward with my handcuffs, my hand to handcuff him, he spun around and hit me in the face.
Look at that little girl, that poor girl.
Jeter was immediately knocked unconscious. She
8?
had no recollection of the savage beating that followed, in full view of Jorge Orozco's daughter. Orozco drove away.
Said, sorry, but I can't go to jail.
Michelle to die by the side of the road.
I mean, the passerby came almost immediately. Did come immediately.
The motorist rushed to Jeter's side. He used her police radio to call for help. Michelle was rushed to the nearest hospital, where she was placed on life support systems and lay in a coma for 6 days.
Because she's got to be a fucking hero, right? Got to be a hero. That's what exists. Like, she's fucking lucky. You know? She's lucky he wasn't, you know, he was with his daughter. I mean, she was knocked out cold at the first shot. He hit her another 8 times or so. That dude had bad intentions. And that's not happening to a male. At least not that. And apparently there's a whole shit ton of videos about female cops getting beaten up on the fucking... I didn't know that. But, you know, I love when I get called out for shit. And it's just super easy to prove it, like me in my 2-story basement. Yep, sniff, sniff, sniff. Because, you know, I must be doing drugs, which is why I constantly blow my nose, which is what you do when you back out, right? Isn't that what you do? All the times you've done cocaine in your life, didn't you just blow it all right back out? I know I always did. Or whatever snorty drugs you do, whether it's crushed up pills or whatever. But yeah, keep making sense. At the end of the day, who's going to be mad at me? At the end of the day, females are mad at me because I'm sympathetic. I mean, as much as you want to say how can you say I'm being a dick? You guys are fucking irrational monsters. Some of you. And because we're not allowed to you know, delve into that, you know, it just is what it is. Like, I guarantee, most females in high positions like judges, police, whatever, when they are if you were to look at their record and see when they have the most complaints, I'd be willing to bet it was, you know, it'll be like a month or a week every month, you know, a certain week, a certain, you know, and I bet you there's a pattern that could easily be founded.
Let me walk you through your plan options and provide the one that's right for you. That'd be great. Thank you. Turn 65. Call 1-877-ETNA-08 to find an Aetna Medicare
Yeah, fuck yeah, give me some money. Hell yeah. Old French man, you give me some money and change my life, I'm going to make the world a better place for the goyim out there. Anybody who wants to give me money can go to www.the-bilderberg, BILDERBERG-group.com, and it's a free download. You know, we give it to you for free. If you want to give money, by all means do that. But the link will be in the description after the fact, and the link's in the previous video, so you can always go find it easily. But if you want to give me money, go right ahead. That's cool. Why do you hate women? I just hate you so much, you awful women. I love how you're basically like, I can't make any intelligent arguments against what you're saying, so I'm going to say something stupid. You know, if if the qualification test has to be adjusted so you can do it, that's not equality. Like, women don't like equality. When you think about it, you really don't. You want, like, your cherry-picked version, where, you know, you get to, you know, I still want you to, like, pay for movies and dinners and shit. And I still want the option of whether I can work or stay home, and then you'll go to work and take care of everything. But I'm not really down with that. If I don't perform as well as the men, I don't get to do it thing. Like, we always talk about the WNBA and shit. What the fuck is this guy doing? You know, it's the WNBA is an absolute joke. And yet you still have these idiots out there talking about women should make as much as the men do. They're just as good as the men are. This, then Brittany Griner talking about she could beat DeMarcus Cousins in a basketball game. It's like listen. Let's see. Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner is... It's weird. Let's just do this. Brittany Griner, height. She's 6'9". She weighs 205 pounds. DeMarcus Cousins is 6'10" and weighs 269 pounds. And he looks like that. Like, he's jacked. He's not even like gumpy. He's fucking jacked. He's got abs and shit. And that bitch thinks she can beat him. She's an inch shorter and 60 pounds lighter. And she thinks she can beat him. How is that not an insult to him? Oh, and he's a dick. He's a guy that grew up in the hood and, like, he has a dick mentality. He said, you know, I like her confidence, but it ain't no walk in the park over here. That was his response to it. And they show all these other...
Great response.
Like, it was. Perfect. Actually, it's really a funny interview. You got to see it. Because it just says everything. She's delusional.
Is that true? Really? Fairy tale? I'm not sure I believe that. Yeah, I mean...
We're going to see EY.
Sorry I was mean to you, Dad.
Must be EY. Where is the... Paul Pierce doesn't see Brittany.
Well, you've seen this young lady, Brittany Griner, play.
It's a professional basketball player.
I've actually watched the highlights of it. Yeah. The speculation she might be drafted. It might be just a show for cute. But Shane Badry says he sees a woman playing in the NBA in a couple of years. Is it possible? I think it'll be a little difficult just because of the physicality of the sport.
Look at how he has to say it like all politically.
Much stronger, much more athletic. Will it happen one day? I mean, I don't know. You know, they have a women's league where they're the best women in the world. I really don't, honestly, I can't tell you if I could see a woman right now playing it. Not the next.
Are you tired of hiding your smile?
I gotta see if I can find the actual, like, the interview, like the actual thing, and then the
One of my favorite headlines from
responses.
the Olympics so far, of course, has to do with basketball. The America's Cousins came after practice on Tuesday. Quality time.
Jason Rubin. Jason Rubin. This random guy.
But I do have a gift for you. You guys have those envelopes?
Let's see.
Share these with your attorneys. I think it'll go a long way to getting you what you want.
I just want to get the one where it shows everything.
We have seen this
Oh,
past
look,
week.
there's another guy. Gee, what do you think of that guy?
Has he responded yet?
I'm surprised I can't find this shit.
And play against DeMarcus Cousins, who's never played against NBA talent. We talk a lot of crap to each other. I love talking to him. He's funny. I would love to just go out there and play.
Yeah, you're fucking stupid. Let's see. There's a whole compilation of like the responses that it got. Let's see, maybe I can.
You doing anything for Christmas, boss? Not gonna be alone, are you? I got big plans. Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas. It's ridiculous. It's obvious what's being done out here. It's on a nightly basis. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here, because it's getting ridiculous.
All right, let me see. WNBA more competitive than the NBA. Brittany Griner.
Like and subscribe for more basketball memes.
Shit's so funny.
Introducing squashing the beef between DeMarcus Cousins versus Brittany Griner.
Look at that fucking man. He's huge. Watch this. She's gonna stop that.
Right.
She can't even do that. How is she gonna stop it? Here's some of her highlights. Okay, so we're gonna show his first, and then I can't show any of that shit. Oh, she missed.
Coming up our elevator.
What?
Well, it's the highest level of basketball, and if you love basketball, you love the WNBA.
You fucking crazy, man. Sound insane. You realize that? There's also a little delusion.
About it. You need to be paid because you command the same respect. The game is just as good. Here, where I live near Clownsville.
Yeah, dude who's been doing this for 32 years, full-time professional, rated by One Family Magazine, #1 clown, 9 straight years. He's shooting 48% from 3 this season.
I'm just going to use that to fuel this. I mean, I'm better, but
I'm better.
and I know that kind of gets at him, but it's okay. It's okay, little man.
Little man, she calls him. What a fucking idiot. Jesus Christ. Yeah, she's gonna stop this. Watch this one.
But it's okay. It's okay, little man.
Oh my God, so arrogant. Watch. Now, there are 4 NBA players right there. She's stopping that. Here. She just missed the dunk. Here, we're gonna try again. Must have been her shoes. Here we go. Oh, almost got it. This is just ridiculous. Oh, look. The WNBA is more competitive, right? So they didn't just let this one. So this is him. Oh, and that guy's. Look at. They even let her have it. She backs all the way up. No. Now she's going to go for the 3. Air ball. This isn't what I want to see, though. This isn't the right one.
I got cuz on that one.
God damn it. Why is this so difficult to find? Doesn't make any sense. DeMarcus Cousins drops 55 points. Yeah. How many times do you think she's done that? I mean, he did 55 points against the NBA. Like, the NBA is one of these things where if you're not good enough, there's another guy who's just waiting to take your spot. The WNBA isn't like that. I don't understand what the fuck I can't find this for. This is a pretty good.
George, can you turn the music
Draymond
off?
Green. Listen to this. Listen to what this dumbass says.
One thing that you, I don't want to say change, that you feel that can help the WNBA's game out.
Help the game out. Okay, so I think the game is looking great. I think it's evolved great. I believe that player for player, players are more talented, faster. You can see they're getting that individual training, ball handling skills, shooting. The game is phenomenal. I thought they're playing at a high level.
Oh my God. See, how do they keep a straight face? It's not phenomenal.
Always, you know,
It's a joke.
We'd love to have Brittany back home. That's important.
For sure.
Close
Shout
to
out
her.
BG.
Shout out to BG. She's never, you know, far from our thoughts. But the WNBA is rocking.
Right, because she was
Could we
held
have more?
prisoner. She was a POW.
I mean, I just think, you know, from a salary standpoint, it'd be great for the women to be able to make more money. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work.
Never, not once in the history of the WNBA has it turned a profit.
Maybe $12 million on an NBA team could cover the whole WNBA salary. So that's kind of like crazy. And again, you know,
He's mad. You can see he's mad.
26 years young, so it's not like we're comparing ourselves to the NBA, but I do feel like the pay gap would be something that, you know, we could just take a donation around the NBA, maybe one night y'all don't go to the casino.
I have something on this, though.
Good.
It pisses me off.
Good.
It pisses me off because I don't think there's anyone in America that supports the WNBA more than NBA players.
100%.
The NBA players support the WNBA like
the most.
More than we probably support the NBA. And it bothers me.
You shouldn't be bothered because
she won't even let him talk.
Players, I can tell you 100%. And we had a meeting for our 25th
Why don't you let him talk?
We were like do Zooms with the
when somebody doesn't let somebody talk, it's because they know they're wrong.
And I told them on that call, the number one supporter that we have, you guys never focus on, and that is the NBA players.
I don't know if you guys know this, but the WNBA actually loses money. Shocker, I know. They lose an average of about $10 million per year ever since they started.
They lose $10 million.
That they're able to keep going as a league and pay their players. Well, that would be the NBA. The only reason the WNBA even exists is because of the profits that the NBA has made. So when you hear statements like, men should show more support for our league, just donate your salaries, it's no big deal, skip a couple nights in the casino. Don't you think that's a little entitled?
Go fuck
considering
yourself.
The whole reason they're able to make any money at all and even play basketball is because of the NBA players making the profits they do. Even when they show support, NBA players get blasted for it. That's what happened to Andre Iguodala. When he complimented Ariel Powers, she not only told him to keep it to himself, but she also tried digging up old tweets from his past to cancel him. That's right, she tried to ruin his career just because he complimented her by number and not by name. And
right.
Let's also not forget when Luka
he said, "Nice job, number 23 or whatever."
WNBA jersey to show support for the Dallas team. The point is, NBA players can't win. If they show support, they're seen as egotistical, self-centered, and trying to make everything about them.
A
But when
boot.
they don't show
Wonder if he's a
support, they're
Canadian.
seen as sexist, and that they don't care about anybody but themselves. Getting paid millions of dollars to play a sport is...
I can't believe I can't find this fucking shit. Ah, fuck.
He's so cute.
There and play again. Because it's just fun.
Let's see. Where the fuck is this video? I can't believe this is so hard to find. Why is this so hard to find? Right? Just that in itself. Why is it so hard to
Back in
find?
2016, Brittany Griner said she thought she could beat former NBA All-Star DeMarcus Cousins in a 1v1. But how much truth is there really to this statement? Well, to find out, let's compare their career stats head-to-head. Let's start off with the first column, games, which DeMarcus easily wins by playing over double the amount than Brittany. Then the second column, points.
In the
DeMarcus
NBA.
also wins, but not as convincingly. And then rebounds per game. DeMarcus also wins by averaging almost 3 rebounds per game more than Brittany. And DeMarcus also takes out assists per game and steals per game pretty convincingly as well. Right now, Brittany's chances aren't looking good, but this is where she starts making a comeback, where she averages over 2 times the amount of blocks than DeMarcus.
Of
And also
course.
has a higher field goal percentage, a higher
Of
three-point
course.
percentage, a higher free throw percentage, and also has a higher effective field goal percentage. And
Those
just
are
like
all
that,
by, like,
things are tied
little
up at 5
pieces.
columns to 5. But there's 2 columns to go. In the first one, turnovers per game. Brittany ends up taking out as she averages way less turnovers than DeMarcus. But then DeMarcus comes back in the last column by having a few more total career dunks than Brittany, which gives us a final score
6'10"
of
to
6 columns
27.
each. So,
God damn it. I can't believe this is so fucking hard to find. Oh, Skip Bayless talking about Brittany Griner being ready. God, he's an idiot. Skip Bayless is just the worst. So I can find the video with Charles Barkley roasting players' outfits, but I can't find anything.
Thanks for calling Consumer Cellular, ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction.
This is weird.
Way better coverage than I do. Sounds like Linda has you beat. Not at bowling. You're messing up a little. Are you really ranked #1 in coverage? Yep. And plans start at just $20. Oh, we can afford less.
Let's try this. Men versus women basketball. Maybe that'll pop it up.
And right now, get your second month free. Call Consumer Cellular today. How is strip search a punishment?
No. I can't believe this is so fucking hard to say. WNBA champions versus high school boys.
Living with opioid addiction
Oh.
can be a struggle. Trapped
There
in
we
a
go.
cycle of opioid use, withdrawal, and cravings.
Time. It is 100% true. A good state championship caliber high school boys team would smoke the best team in the WNBA.
I mean, you're
By
not
far.
wrong. For many sports fans, what Clay Travis said is nowhere near controversial, as it's an opinion based in sporting reality. What do you know? Chelsea Gray, a WNBA player who plays for this year's WNBA champions, the Las Vegas Aces, well, she had a problem with the statement.
Of course, she's not going to prove it.
And responded to Travis by calling him a dumbass. Gray's response to Travis,
Dumbass. That's exactly it. When you're wrong, you say stupid things like that.
as Travis doubled down in his response to her by offering to put up
$1 million.
in a WNBA versus high school boys
I'll put $1
basketball
million on the line. Your WNBA champion team against the 2024 high school state boys team.
nor the WNBA have responded to Travis's offer, seemingly aware of the reality of what would unfold in such a game.
It's exactly why
Nonetheless,
Caitlin Clark
this has
didn't
left
take
many
up
sports fans, some that don't
Ice
even
Cube's
care
offer.
or
And
watch
that's weird,
basketball,
nobody talks
very
about it.
interested and willing to pay paid to watch this potential face-off. And look, there have been other battle of the sexes in sports before that went, well, as expected.
Right.
Such as a professional men's soccer team from the UK recently destroying a women's team 12-0. Jarvis,
They were retired, though. These were retired players. 12-0.
Wrexham defeats the U.S. women.
Or a few years back when the U.S. women's national soccer team played an under-15 boys side behind closed doors and lost. But in a 1973 tennis match, Billie Jean King did defeat former Wimbledon champion and a very overly confident Bobby Riggs.
We'll say a nice game of tennis for girls, but when they get out there on a court with a man, even a tired old man at 55,
He's 55.
The tennis match saw 90 million people
He was
worldwide tune
55.
in and is still considered one of the most watched televised sporting events of all time. In other words, an exhibition game between a WNBA team and a high school boys state championship team would be a massive marketing and financial opportunity for
Right.
the WNBA
Absolutely.
and the players
Especially
that
if they
take
could
part
win.
in that game. As if you threw that game on pay-per-view, I really think millions of people would tune in. The game would
I'd
have too
watch it.
many underlying narratives
But I'd
for it
watch it
not
for
to
free.
draw impressive numbers. You know, it would draw those purely interested in the spectacle. It would draw people who wish to see two different genders compete against each other. It would draw both the supporter of the WNBA as well as all the haters of the WNBA. And sure, some might argue that the WNBA would never do this as it's a lose-lose situation. Either the WNBA
If I scammed
team
anybody, why
loses
would
to
they
a high
keep
school
buying
team
from me?
and gets ridiculed,
Stupid
or
ass.
they beat the high school team and aren't given credit for it as they only beat high schoolers. However, there are many possible wins in this for the WNBA.
Have you ever seen, like,
First, taking part.
have you ever seen championship, like high school boy championship basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
those
exciting.
those kids are fucking slamming, jamming. They're showing off. They're dumb kids who are, like, they want to show off more than they want to win. They're fucking insane. You wouldn't believe, 6'10" high schoolers. What are you talking about? Yeah, lots of them. They just
In
it's
the
a joke.
game would probably earn that 12-woman roster more money in a single game than they might make their entire WNBA career if the game is on pay-per-view. Second, since most basketball fans understand the level of top high school boys, the WNBA team wouldn't even necessarily have to win. Just keeping the game close and competitive would be massively impressive.
It would be, and they won't.
Respect for the league.
They wouldn't.
Remember, before rule changes, players could go straight to the NBA from high school.
Right.
Think Kobe, LeBron, KG, T-Mac, and we gotta show some love to the Rain Man, Sean Kemp. So
Those
it's
guys came out of high school.
likely the WNBA team would be facing off against some players that have the talent to be in the NBA. Thus, a close loss is actually quite respectable. Lastly, this game would undoubtedly be the most watched game WNBA players have ever been a part of.
Right.
Therefore, it would be the biggest marketing opportunity ever presented to the league. So actually, the only way the WNBA and its team loses in this scenario is if the high school team absolutely obliterates them. This fact makes the WNBA's silence to this challenge deafening, as it reveals they, like everyone else, knows what's up. And that's that they would absolutely get destroyed. Again, this is not meant to be disrespectful, it is just a fact.
Right.
Let's add some context to this debate by taking a look at the Mount Verde High School boys team. This is a school, by the way, that boasts alumni such as Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and D'Angelo Russell, just to name a few. Their current roster consists of center Derek Queen, the number 12 prospect in his class, coming in at 6'10", 240 pounds. At power forward, Asa Newell, the number 13 prospect in his class, coming in at 6'9", 205 pounds. At small forward, we have Cooper Flagg, the number 1 prospect in his class, at 6'8", basically 200 pounds. Shooting guard, Liam McNeely, the number 15 prospect in his class, 6'7", almost 200 pounds. Then at point guard, we have the little Rob Wright, only the number 30 prospect in his class, coming in at 6 foot, basically weigh 170 pounds.
Hey, well,
Come on.
there you go.
If anyone thinks a WNBA team is winning against that high school boys team, in the words of a wise basketball oracle, they are delusional. And if someone wants to make the argument that Mount Verde isn't a state champion as they only compete on a national level and therefore wouldn't qualify to be a team in this situation, okay, sure, but that's basically a cop-out and is admitting that some high school teams would indeed beat WNBA teams, which is ultimately the point Travis and others are making. And to stress again, that's fine, as males and females are different with different athletic capabilities, which is often reflected in other sports where
Oh yeah,
adjustments
that's
are
fucking
made
hilarious.
because of this fact. Let's think of
The track.
volleyball. But I digress. Let's go ahead and look at another potential matchup for a WNBA squad. A Florida State champion from this past season where those attributes intersect and often matter. Crap!
Okay.
But ultimately, for the majority of sports fans who would die to see this matchup,
Trying to find this. I'm trying to find stuff.
How did I ever miss this?
Before you were preventing migraine with Qulipta, you'll never truly forget migraine.
What is this topic about?
Making 0
That
migraine days possible.
men and women aren't the
As
same?
much as I understand females wanting the same treatment as, like, the best ping pong player is just as talented as the best basketball player. That doesn't mean they're going to get paid the same. It's what the people want to watch, you know what I mean? So as much as I understand females wanting the same treatment as men basketball players, it's a different sport. People, they're not packing out the arenas. Obviously, their TV deals aren't the same. I mean, you can't pay them the same thing, you know.
It's not as exciting.
No, it's not as
It's
exciting.
terrible.
Yeah, you're not. They got low the rims. I would watch the girls coming down the lane. On another, I would watch that.
I mean, you're not wrong.
although beer pong might be a better comparison, what Michael Porter Jr. just said is 100% true. The WNBA and ping pong both lack any sort of viewing audience in the United States, and both need larger audiences in order to generate more money. Unfortunately, sporting audiences have been telling the WNBA for decades they don't find their league entertaining and have no desire
Look at the
to
fucking,
watch.
look at the,
And since professional sports are a business
look at the,
first,
look at the
fortunately,
crowd.
sporting audiences have been telling the WNBA
Look
for
at that
decades
shit. No one's there. Only people there are family members. Relatives and friends.
are a business first,
You'll get free
entertainment
tickets.
second, and a sport dead last, all categories the WNBA is failing in, this is the worst.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so watch this. Watch these two plays compared to each other.
Are a business first, entertainment second,
Show me the
and a
woman
sport
doing
dead
this.
last, all
Alley-ooping to himself. Here you go.
failing in, this is the worst. It's no surprise that WNBA
It's
players
embarrassing.
are paid less than they wish. If anything, it's a surprise WNBA players are paid as much as they are, because the WNBA as a business has never turned a profit and relies on the NBA to subsidize the league, which is why entitled WNBA players constantly asking for more money rubs NBA players the wrong way, especially when NBA players have been on the forefront of trying to help that league grow. This is why we saw Draymond Green keep it real and call out former WNBA player.
No, he didn't. He stayed quiet.
The WNBA is rocking.
Like,
the most.
more than we probably support the
green business by offering up some initial capital, then fast forward 30 years, and your capital is the only thing keeping their business afloat.
100%.
The NBA
Okay, wait,
players
listen to this.
support the WNBA.
Not this one.
Like,
the most.
more than we probably support the fucking NBA. And it bothers me.
This type of business relationship would bother any rational person. Shit. Imagine helping a friend jumpstart their dream business by offering up some initial capital, then fast forward 30 years, and your capital is the only thing keeping their business afloat on a yearly basis. And every year, without fail, they say, no, trust me, it'll work. I just need some more of your money.
Right.
While at the same time,
That's crazy.
complaining and not listening to any advice you're giving them. After a while, it's going to piss you off. Which is why Draymond Green also called out the WNBA's constant complaining in a different interview.
I'm really tired of seeing them complain about the lack of pay because they're doing themselves a disservice by just complaining. And, huh?
They're not just complaining.
See, that woman has to interrupt him.
Laying out steps
Can't let him make his
they
point.
can take to change that, because the people that can change it, they're just going to continue to say, well, the revenue isn't there. The revenue isn't
The
there.
people that can change it, the Jays that own the whole thing.
Draymond is 100% right here, that WNBA players are just complaining, as they refuse to admit the WNBA as an entertainment product is severely lacking.
Terrible. It's a joke. It's a joke.
And although
It's the most
WNBA players
competitive
say
league
they
in the
aren't
world.
comparing themselves with the NBA, they mention the NBA constantly. But like Michael Porter Jr. said at the
Watch
start,
this. This is awesome. Look at this. Show me the female doing this.
None.
That's why we watch it, though.
That's it.
That's why we watch it, to see people do that shit.
WNBA and NBA are basically different sports.
Impossible.
There's different rules, different equipment, and importantly, different athletic capabilities. Which is why when Amon Shepard was asked about what would happen if you dropped an NBA player like Kevin Durant in the WNBA, he had this brutal
He's so fucking awesome.
to what he deemed would be
This guy's
Juwanna
great.
Mann, the sequel.
Man, make the movie. Kevin Durant, Juwanna Mann Part 2. Make the movie. And it'll show you exactly what happened. Oh, party time. And y'all give him a little rock so he can shoot it from Arkansas.
Shouldn't reaction like this because the question is completely absurd.
Stupid.
The abilities within the two leagues are vastly different, and it's why the WNBA pales in entertainment value compared to the NBA, as the same type of plays simply can't be made. And it's why many NBA players have kept it real and told the WNBA to lower the rims, as it would make the games more entertaining.
But they won't lower the rim. They make a big deal out of lowering the rim, but they use a smaller ball, play less minutes, blah, blah. Like, the rim's the big thing. And the thing is, they say, oh, well, we've been playing on 10-foot rims. No, you haven't. If you've been playing at playgrounds and all that shit your whole life, you're playing on rims that are 10.5, 10 foot, 10.2, 9.4. Like, you're playing on all different size rims. Trust me.
Most entertaining NBA players of all time, whose poster duns live on to this day.
They always will.
The suggestion multiple times.
I have a solution for the WNBA. I don't know if you know, in males beach volleyball and women's beach volleyball, the net is lower just a little bit. So the only thing missing is the dunk. So imagine, I'm not saying lower it to 9 feet, 8 feet. So they can dunk. So they can dunk. Just a little bit.
9 feet. It's a foot difference. That's not that big a difference. The average height is probably a foot lower in the WNBA.
Females affect the product. Adjustments are made between the male and female games, just like in volleyball.
Fucking volleyball is amazing.
Even in the WNBA.
Yeah, never watched indoor professional volleyball. It's amazing. Even the women.
To benefit the women and boost the entertainment value. However, the lack of entertainment value is still a problem, and it's something that T-Mac addressed in the past as well.
Not your average fans. Yay! People that don't watch WNBA basketball, what can we do to get those fans to tune in? And I was like, why can't we lower the goal to at least 9.5 feet? Because I think for somebody that don't watch WNBA basketball, to have women
Then get it.
dunking
Find
on
it.
other women would definitely bring more excitement to that game.
First off, T-Mac deserves some props here, because he was on live TV basically saying the WNBA's entertainment value is trash.
It's insane how bad they are.
And he's not wrong, but honestly, NBA players should have learned by now
It's really
that no matter
bad.
what they do to try to help the WNBA.
But see, that's just it. Like, just the whole concept of you're good for a girl. Well, if you're good for a girl, that's not good enough. You just have to be good. And this whole, like, this isn't equality. You know that you're not equal, and then you're pretending you are, and you want everybody to cater to that and placate that bullshit. But it's just not true. And if it was true, you know, I swear, I'm telling you, if Caitlin Clark was really that good, then she set women behind by a lot. Because what she could have done, should have done, it would have changed everything. So let's just say that Caitlin Clark is that good. She's not. But let's just say she is. She was offered $10 million over 2 years, $5 million per year, by Ice Cube to play in the Big Three. And the Big Three is extremely successful. It's so successful that the WNBA, or that the NBA is like conspires against it. He offered to pay this woman $10 million over 2 years, give her ownership rights into the team, or the league, team or the league, I can't remember, and a percentage of jersey sales. This woman could have had generational wealth after 2 years. Meaning her grandkids would have money because of this. And if she's that good, she could have come in there and shown that I'm not saying she could have dominated. I would have never expect her to even come close to dominating. But if she would have just came in and played well and remained competitive, she would have opened the door to so many female athletes, and for the WNBA to be able to say, look, we are that good, and all this other shit. Instead, she chose to go with the WNBA team that she plays for, signing a 4-year deal where she makes $76,000 a year. 4 years for $300-something thousand, $76,000 a year. She makes $76,000 a year. No ownership rights, no jersey sales, none of that. And her jerseys sell like fucking hotcakes, man. Her jerseys sell, she has to have probably one of the highest selling jerseys right now just because people are so fucking brainwashed. And instead of going and proving that they could compete and all these things, she takes the easy route. I mean, literally, let's call it what it is. It's a hell of a lot easier playing with the WNBA than it is in a league where it's ex-NBA players and guys who just aren't quite good enough to make the NBA. It's literally one of the biggest, pardon the pun, ball drops of all time. If again, only if she really is that good and women are that good and can compete with men. That's all I'm saying.
Did we see any clips that showed that?
What? No, I don't believe it. I'm just saying for all of those that do believe it, for everyone saying shit, the WNBA players, the Brittany Griners of the world, the Lisa Leslies, all that shit, that run their mouths talking this bullshit all the time. You are insane. And we are insane that we even allow this shit. That my television has to get interrupted so you can make me watch this fucking dumb bullshit that I'm going to laugh at. I mean, if you want me to watch it and watch it honestly, I will. And I have. And I've given it the chance multiple times. Have I not? I've said, look, we'll watch this and we'll see. If I'm wrong, I'll say so. And there are some good plays made, no doubt. But it's so fucking bad. It's such a fucking joke. When the men are playing and play stops, they show highlights that they couldn't show from the previous points being scored because the game is so fast that they can't, show the highlight in slow motion until the play stops. When the women's play stops, they'll keep showing highlights from early in the game if something cool happens. But normally footage just stays on the people. And the play stops a fucking lot. A lot in the WNBA. I'd say on average they go up and down the court 2 times. Up and down once. And the play stops. Sometimes you might get 3 or 4, but somebody's always falling down. Somebody's always crying about something. It's just it's a joke. It's embarrassing. They airball all the time. they miss passes. Like I'm telling you, it's really bad. I would much rather watch high school boys play than females play than professional females. And I don't understand, like, if you know I feel this way, why would you insist that I don't say it and just keep it to myself? Just so you feel better. How is that equality? If you know somebody doesn't like something and you're forcing them to do it just to make you feel better, like what? That's a form of rape almost, you know? That's psychological rape. You know, if you don't want my honest opinion, then you shouldn't ask. And you definitely shouldn't make me watch it. Force it on us like that. I mean, it's insane. Have you ever met anybody that was like, "Hey, oh, I can't go out. I can't hang out this weekend. The WNBA's on."
No.
Have you ever met it? Have you ever met somebody that was, "Oh no, I can't. I got the game, the football game, the basketball game." You ever met somebody like that before?
Yeah.
Yeah, many times.
But not.
Nothing female. It's fucking wild, man. I love the people that bring up submarines. This is part 57. You think I've been talking about submarines for 57 parts? How could anybody, even if I believed in them, how could I talk about them for 57 episodes? And there's actually multiple parts to some episodes, so it's more like 100 videos. I do encourage you to go watch the first 9 videos if you want to see submarines get debunked. But it's really weird how anybody would give a shit. Why would anyone care that I don't believe in submarines? Especially over all this other shit, like female pay and all that stuff. That's not more important than whether I believe in submarines. Equality as a whole, that's not more important. You know, it's just it's amazing how desperate people are. They have to say something. They need attention, you know, but they're not smart enough. They can't stay on topic. They can't talk about the thing that we're talking about. So again, it always reminds me of like if you're at like the family's house for you know a holiday or whatever, and you're talking to another adult about you know money or whatever, and the little kid comes up and they just stand there waiting like they're okay. When can I jump in? Oh, I make money. I have a piggy bank and it has $18 in it. And you're like, oh, that's really good, little man. But hey, we're talking about something a little bit bigger than that. So, hey, do you mind going and playing real quick? I'll come play with you in a little bit. But can you let the adults have a conversation real quick? And the kid's like, okay, you know, I'm out of my league. He's probably not very good anymore.
No.
That's how it seems with the comments. Like, I mean, can you imagine you're having a conversation with somebody about whatever, and say you have like say I have Captain Nemo shirt on, and somebody walks up to me and goes, "Talk about Captain Nemo's." Like, dude, we're fucking talking here. What's wrong with you? Have a Captain Nemo shirt on. Talk about Captain Nemo's. Like, that is so fucking weird. You want to get in on the conversation? By all means, I'd love to hear your opinion. But are you okay? Are you okay? It seems strange that nobody can make a fucking argument as to why I'm wrong about things. Why I'm wrong. And I guarantee nobody on this feed watches the WNBA. Who's going to be arguing right now? Are you arguing that are you even arguing, or are you just trying to get attention? That must be a stimulant. Yeah. The funny thing is I've been live for 2 hours and then was live for an hour before that. If I'm doing stimulants, shouldn't I be doing them? Wouldn't that make sense? You must not be familiar with drugs, because cocaine's not something you do every couple hours. Especially if you're like a daily addict. You're ripping bumps a lot, I would assume. Meth. Oh yeah, must be the meth. Must be meth. Yeah. Although there are lots of like, you can watch TED Talks and you can watch all kinds of things where people are giving presentations, and it's actually encouraged that you walk back and forth because that keeps people's focus. It makes them, instead of lulling people to sleep, it makes them focus. But hey, must be math. You can't argue anything I'm saying, so I must be a meth head. Maybe you should do meth. You might sound smarter. Fucking goofy, man. And you, as always, like me personally, I have to ask, like, who the fuck would be doing this? Who the fuck hears what's being talked about and goes, yeah, I don't like it, so I'm going to talk about something else. I disagree with you, so I'm going to talk about, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I just think, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a woman. You know, I think women are amazing. And I don't think doing manly shit makes you more of a woman. Write that down. Doing manly shit does not make you more of a woman. And I don't know why that's such a big deal. You know, the whole shit with McEnroe and then the way he was brought on the news, and they made him say that Serena Williams is the 5th best player in the world, and he was like, and I'll say it's Serena just to make you happy. Does that make you happy? And the dumb girls were like, uh-huh, it does. We know you don't mean it, but we're happy you're saying it. Are you crazy? You're gonna have to postpone the spaghetti till tomorrow. Tonight is a poutine night. Got the fucking better than bouillon. Oh yeah. You're gonna make that gravy tic-tacular. Ooh, poutine. Blah, 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 blah. God, Jesus Christ. People are so concerned with me. It's just so strange, right? Like, in this world where people are so self-centered, and you see that everywhere. You see these dumbass people making their dumb TikTok videos where they're dancing and all these things about pay attention to me. I'm sitting here trying to talk about big issues, the world. I have to have my face on here or else it won't work as well. But obviously I really don't care because, you know, just like you guys love to point out, I need to brush my hair. But you would think, like, why are you guys so obsessed with me? Especially all you men. There sure are a lot of men that seem to be really obsessed with me. Strange, man. Strange. I mean, I see it. Maybe you don't see it. You know, maybe it's not something you're comfortable with yet, but you really need to ask yourself, what's going on? Why are you obsessed with this one dude? I mean, if you're a J, I get it. Dumb Jays, they got a lot of that shit going on in there. I mean, it's just a joke. You guys are fucking dumb-ass J dumb fucking clowns. And all you do is prove it. You have the opportunity. Like, I'm the one that's shooting from the hip here. I'm the one that's going unrehearsed and talking for however long and blah, blah, blah. You get to sit there and come up with something as the best thing you can come up with. And try to type it out. Make sure it's spelled correctly. I know you have a lot of hard times with that. But you could literally say anything. And if I was wrong, you could point to it and make me look stupid. And you never do. Instead, you're all obsessed with me. That's weird. That is weird shit, man. You know, and these are probably the same guys that are like super homophobic. You know, I just don't want some dude in a dress going in the bathroom and looking at my daughter. The dude in the dress doesn't want you to know he's a dude in the dress. When was the last time you ever heard of a guy dressing like a woman so he can go in the woman's bathroom and fuck with chicks?
No.
Have you ever heard that story?
That's a lot of expense and ridicule
And risk.
to even cop a look-see or a potential feel.
I have no idea. I can't even
Can't you do that in a dark movie theater or some shit? Like
I have no idea.
Bar, stumble by and oops, sorry.
But the thing is, again,
get in less trouble for that.
the way that you hear these dumb fucking arrogant white guy fucking piece of shits always argue is that specific thing. They don't want the guy in the bathroom looking at their daughter, and it's like, well, when has that ever happened? Where did that even come from? Do you honestly think transgender people haven't been using the bathroom the whole time? Like, the whole time. Transgender people use the bathroom.
Yeah, but they weren't allowed to trick us and dress like girls.
I've never been in the bathroom and had a dude come in. Like, a dude dressed as a chick come in and be like, well, I didn't want to go in the female bathroom. Never. Never been like, oh, wow, tranny's here. Never. Been in lots of bathrooms.
I don't know that I've ever been in a woman's bathroom and a transvestite walked in.
You have. You just didn't know because they didn't make a big fucking deal about it.
And I don't give a fuck. I'm there to pee. I don't get the creepy vibe.
Well, and
worried,
we do coke and meth in the bathrooms too.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, we're big coke meth heads. And we're the snortable kind because I'm sniffling.
In a bathroom? Ew.
It's the same thing as the Boy Scouts. I don't know of the story of the Boy Scout leader fucking with kids. You know what one story I can tell you I've heard a lot of, though? A lot of the time, I've heard about people in the church fucking with kids. A lot of time I've heard about Hollywood Jays fucking with kids. But people in the church, how come you're more concerned with something that's never happened or doesn't happen as opposed to something that's happened just countless times? And usually the people speaking the loudest about, against transgenders are the religious ones, are the most religious people.
Yep.
And it's, I'm only saying this for the kids. It's because I care about the kids. I don't want a transgender reading my kid a book and then him becoming a transgender. I always think we should start the doctors read books to kids program, because if somebody reads a book to your kid, apparently that makes the kid be that person. Transgenders reading books to my boy gonna make him want to dress like a girl.
Make him like boys. He didn't like penises before. Now he does. It was that tranny.
It was that transgender that read that nursery rhyme book. I knew it. Like, if your kid is drawn to transgender in any way, they were going to at some point. Like, if they're not.
Rather than see a transgender doing just some normal, nice, kind thing for other people, rather than, whatever it is you have in your head that transgender people do?
Well, and the other thing is, like, usually, if you tell a little boy that's actually a guy in a dress, he's going to go, what? He's going to giggle. If he doesn't giggle and he's like, oh, wow, I really want to go talk to that, then you have a transgender liking kid on your hands, maybe transgender himself. I think about my kids as
or a fashion designer,
toddlers and shit,
or both.
And I think about them just finding a stick. They would find a stick and just start hitting shit. Boom, boom, boom. Nothing girly about it.
flabbergasted that they're both here. Here, come on.
It was just so, it's always so, like, it's just goofy to me that people act like, Kenny Bartholomew. There's probably a lot of people in the truther community that know Kenny Bartholomew. And you know him because he sort of blew up by being a bigot. And I've known Kenny Bartholomew for 20 fucking years. I don't talk to him anymore, but I've known him for like 20 years. Longer than that, actually. We both lived in Southern California, and, I had sex with his cousin, and whatever. There's other stuff, but I can't confirm it, so I don't talk about it. But him and I actually worked at a those guys that drive up and down your street with a freezer on their back, and they say, "Hey, I deliver meat to the nearest hotel, and they ordered too much, so my boss said I could just go unload it in the neighborhood. So, hey, I can let you have this carton of restaurant quality steaks for like $75. No, how about $50? And it works. If you buy meat off the back of a truck, you're an idiot. You're just a fucking idiot.
It's old ass nasty, low quality meat.
But nobody was better at selling meat than Kenny Bartholomew. He was amazing at it. I used to hate when I would have to ride with him because I'd be like, fuck, man, you're going to get all the, I don't know why, but he just, white boy, blonde hair, blue eyes, people just loved him. He's a good looking dude. So, I don't know, 5 years ago, something like that. He sees one of my videos being shared and reaches out like, "Hey, dude, I stumbled across one of your videos. Holy shit, blah blah blah." And we're in the same world, right? He's big flat earther and blah blah blah, all this shit. Like we're in the same world. To the point where I'm like, dude, this guy was the best fucking meat slanger in the world, and if you can slang meat, it's a rare breed that can do that. I was like, dude, we were talking about him. He was even talking, him being the manager of my group, because we need a guy like that on the inside, a guy making calls, a salesperson that believes in us. And he liked what we did, so we were talking about doing it. But one day, he sends me this link. He's like, dude, check this out. Check out, I went on this, I made this video. And what him and a couple of friends did was put on a Guy Fawkes masks, and there was this comic shop that was having a fashion show for transgender kids. So for all those little kids out there that don't want to play football, that don't want to climb trees and shit, that want to be fucking runway models and shit, that's what they're drawn to. Because, like, I love people that say, oh, you can't do it to kids. What age is the age where, when did you first realize you liked women? As far back as I can remember, I love some titties, so I can't tell you when that happened. What the fuck you talking about? To pretend that, like, kids don't have these kind of ideas and questions and all that. And the other thing is, like, most of you are so stupid that you think when you say gay to a little kid, they're like, oh shit, you mean like penises and butts and fucking 69 and scissors and shit? You mean like that? When you tell a little kid that a boy likes a boy, they're going to be like, oh, well, I don't like girls either, so I'm gay too. And you'd be like, no. Not like, you know how mommy and daddies like each other? Well, sometimes boys like each other like that. And the kid will go, ew, most of the time. But that's about it. They're not thinking about all those extra details that you, the adult, is thinking about. But this comic store had this fashion show, right? And again, like, if your kid says, hey, Dad, I want to do a fashion show. This comic store is having a fashion show for transgender kids, and I feel like I'm a transgender kid that wants to do the fashion show. What are you going to do? Smack him in the face and tell him to go play football or something? Is that how insecure you are? Might not be something I'd enjoy, but I'd take my kid. I'd definitely take him so that I could ensure he was safe. But Kenny and friends stood outside this comic store and yelled insults and ridiculed everybody that came in with their kids. So the kids are these little kids who are like super excited that they finally get to do something that fits them. And they show up and there's these guys in scary masks yelling horrible shit at them and at their parents. And he posted that. And of course, like he had made lots of videos in the past and none of them had blown up. Of course, this one blows up. Full of comments from fucking, redneck, racist, piece of shit motherfuckers talking all kinds of horrible shit. And he sent it to me and I reached out back to him and I'm like, dude, I don't think you're coming across like you think you're coming across in this video. I think you're coming across like a fucking asshole. And he was like, what do you mean? Blah, blah, blah. Transgender agenda, this, that, and the other. And I was like, you know what? Let's halt here. You think there's a transgender agenda, right? And he was like, fuck yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, don't say anything else. How about tomorrow you join me on my live feed and you can make all your arguments and then I'll talk back and we'll have a discussion about it. And he was like, fuck yeah, man, let's do that. I'll be there, blah, blah, blah. So the next day I get up and I send him the message. I can see he's connected, so I can see that he's live or that he's awake. He's in Colorado, but he's awake. It's late enough in the day where it's like 8:30, so he's awake. I reach out like, hey man, about to go live. Come on, join us. Go live, like live with Kenny Bartholomew to talk about transgender agenda. Like I set it all up and I waited. And I waited and I waited and he never showed up. And afterwards, I go to his feed, and he's posted this other video that's out of like Brazil or some shit. And it's this younger looking person who's clearly on drugs dancing at like some sort of festival in some Daisy Dukes and like drops and does the splits or something. It's only like a 15-second clip. So you literally have no context of what it is. You also don't know if that's a young person or not. They could just be a young looking person. I looked much younger than I did until all this gray and wrinkles started happening. Or I looked much younger than I was. Wife too. Wife at 23, other than her big old boobies, she could have passed for much younger. People look young. So I reached out like, dude, what the fuck? Where were you? I thought we were going to have this conversation, blah, 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 blah. And of course I get attacked by his constituency. And I make those points on the video, like you don't know the context of this video. You don't know how old that person is. You don't know anything about this video. You're just using it to fuel your bigotry because that's what you seemingly come across as, a bigot. And you make this argument that it's for the children and you didn't show up. Like you had the floor. You had the chance to convince me to be a warrior on your side. I'd be a good warrior on your side if that's what you think. And so then he blocks me, and I never hear from him again. Although I did see him periodically on my band page live feed, but never had the balls to come have a simple conversation with me. I don't think kids should be able to be trans until they reach 18. Medically, yeah. Of course. Nobody should be allowed to do shit to their junk and stuff like that and take this and take that until they're old enough. But see, again, by the time you're like 13, 14, you know whether you want a dick in your mouth or not. Let's be real here. If you have questions and curiosities and shit, well then you should explore those things because you might have some non-straight tendencies and that's totally okay. But absolutely, like childhood is a blink in the eye. People make such a big deal out of it, but it's such a short period in our life. So yeah, you can't take hormones, you can't do all those things until you're 18, whatever. I'm okay with that. I think it sets the stage for some, it's like when you make abortion illegal, you don't kill abortion. You just make people go to horrible lengths to get it done. You know, making drugs illegal. Well, people are still doing drugs. They just, now they got to go to seedy parts of town and shit and do bad things for them. But again, like, those people don't do anything to you. Why would you care about what somebody else does behind closed doors or whatever? Somebody wants to live their life whatever way they want to be called, whatever pronoun they want to be called. Who gives a fuck? Why does that matter to anyone? You can't even have consensual interactions until you're 18. That's not true. It's 16. 16 is the age of consent in most states, which is disgusting. Like, it's one thing when it's 16, 17-year-olds.
It's statutory rape if you're 18 and she's 16, though, even with consent.
It can be, yeah. But like when you're like 38, 40, to be attracted to an 18-year-old,
that's gross.
That's gross.
34 attracted to a 15-year-old.
Right.
Fucking gross.
That's fucking gross. Her body isn't even developed yet.
No, she had little girl boobies.
Little girly puffy nipple boobies and, you know.
Now she looks like a woman.
Or she's had a kid. No, it's 16. I watch a lot of those TCAP shows and shit. It's actually 16. It's fucking gross. It's fucking gross. But again, like, what does that even have to do with anything? Age of consent. In Michigan, the age of consent is 16. That means a person must be at least 16 years old to legally consent to sexual activity. However, there are some exceptions to this rule, including a 14 or 15-year-old can consent to sexual activity if their partner is less than 5 years older and there is no exploitation. A 12 or 13-year-old can consent if their partner is less than 2 years old and there is no exploitation.
Gross.
Age of consent in the United States varies by state and is between 16 and 18 years old. 16 years old, the most common age of consent, found in 31 states. 17 years old, found in 7 states. 12 or 18 years old, found in just 12 states. Shut your dumb fucking mouth. 16 years old is consent in like 6 states, says some dumb fuck. God, I'm so sick of stupid people chiming in, trying to say they're smart when they're fucking clearly stupid. Shut the fuck up. You have the most powerful research tool ever given to the Goyim in the palm of your hands. You shouldn't be saying stupid shit. If you don't know something, look the shit up, you dumbass. God. What a better, like, is there a better way to say that you're a dumbass without actually saying you're a dumbass? You're not fired. Happy New Year. Fucking stupid, man. It's amazing how stupid people are. I just can't. Doesn't it bother you being stupid? Doesn't that bother you? Like, there's a reason why I read what I read, because I don't want to listen to some stupid ass tell me something wrong. You know, when this video's going around the web and it's you know, Buzz Aldrin says we've never went to the moon. Little girl interviews him and he confirms it. We never went to the moon. Everybody's sharing the shit, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, let me just watch the video and see what he actually says, because maybe it's something different. And the little girl asks him, how come we never went back to the moon? And he says, yeah, we never did. How come we never did? How come we never went? How come we never went back? He didn't say we never went to the moon. All you dumbasses sharing that shit got it wrong. He is obviously a genius, y'all. We're too stupid for him. Hey, man, you said it. You're the one that made the stupid comment. So instead of being like, you know what? I was wrong about that, man. You were right. Gotcha. All right. I'll get you next time. Like a fucking realistic, intelligent adult, now you're going to say stupid shit like you guys always do. It's just brilliant, man. Anyway, go get your free download, www.the-bilderberg-group.com. It's free. It's fucking awesome. I'm going to put a link to the song Putin Work, our Facebook page. Go fucking like and follow the Facebook page. Like, share, sub this video. Do all that shit you already know you should do. I'm giving you free music. Go get that free music. Whether it sucks or not, go get it. It's free. Share it with someone. And everyone have a great day. And this time I will do the proper sign off because I forgot to on the last one. And that is always, as always, 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 pedophiles, kill yourself.